RV rinsing tools may not be as effective as you think they are. Hi everyone, I'm Chris, certified RV technician for Unique Camping and Marine. We recommend that you rinse your Blackwater holding tank after every time that you dump when practical. And you may have some tools or maybe using an onboard RV tank rinser, but they may not be doing exactly what you think that they are doing. We're going to use our clear holding tank today to show you how each one of these tools work. Let's get started. So we are focusing on 5 of the most used RV rinsing tools today: the Camco flexible swivel stick, Valterra Flush King, the Valterra Master Blaster, the Camco Tornado, and the Chock. Here we have the Camco flexible swivel stick. This one is marketed that it will be rocketing water across all of the walls of your Blackwater holding tank when pushed down through your RV's toilet. This is the model which you would want to have if you have a offset toilet from where it enters into the Blackwater holding tank. Typically there's some 45-degree elbows in between there, and you will need this flexible part of the line in order to make it into the black tank. Unfortunately, when it is inside of there, this one doesn't have enough force to even reach the far wall of our clear Blackwater holding tank. So there's nothing wrong with using this tool. It is just the most effective when you're using it to fill up the Blackwater holding tank and then dump it, so you are able to allow everything that was left behind from the initial dump to be drained out once it is full. Here is the Camco Tornado. This is one of the onboard tank rinsing systems, and the theory behind it is that when water pressure is applied to it, it is supposed to spin around and knock off all of the left behind items on the walls, ceiling, and floor of the Blackwater holding tank. Now, keep in mind that you may not have the exact same setup as far as an RV black tank goes, but as you can see from this one, it doesn't really do a very good job as far as the tornado aspect is concerned. It barely spins and it just sort of dribbles water out of it. And that's not really much of a problem so long as you are just trying to fill up your Blackwater holding tank after the initial dump. Here we have the Valterra Flush King, and a lot of people believe that this, when attached to their RV and with the hose running at full blast, that it is rocketing water into the Blackwater holding tank in order to dislodge things which are inside there. However, when in reality, when using the Flush King, the jet of water will run directly into the 45-degree and other pipe fittings which are in the way of it, and will slow down the water so it is just slowly filling up the tank. There's really nothing wrong with this whatsoever, but you'll want to make sure that your tank is actually completely full before you open up the valve again in order to dump it. This tool can be very useful if you don't have an onboard tank rinser and just need an external way to fill up the Blackwater holding tank. If you choose to use a tool like the Flush King backwasher or another one of the other brands who make something very similar, we highly recommend that you use one with an external shutoff valve on it. Otherwise, what will happen is that the water which you're adding into it will basically be hitting the PVC plumbing and will be rushing right back out, and it will most likely not get almost any water at all into the Blackwater holding tank. So always make sure that you use one with a valve that is in the closed position in order to fill the tank. Next, we have the Valterra Master Blaster. This one's actually quite effective so long as your Blackwater holding tank is directly below the RV's toilet. As long as you've got a straight shot, this is probably the most effective tool which we've seen. And what it is doing is just using a right angle bend in order to spray water out, and you can point this spray of water in whichever direction you need. And the best way to use this is by systematically turning it so that you are trying to hit every corner and nook and cranny of your Blackwater holding tank while moving the wand gently up and down in order to try to hit as many surface areas as possible. Just a friendly reminder that not everyone's Blackwater holding tank is the same. They're all built and constructed and installed very differently. And so when using any one of these tools, you no longer have the luxury of a clear holding tank like we do, and you will be mostly basing this off of what you're able to see through the toilet hole or basing it off of which sounds you're hearing. And this may lead you to believe that there is a lot more impressive things happening than actually is going on inside of the black tank while rinsing it. Next up, we have another method which you can use, which is simply just using the Chock to allow the black water holding tank to fill up with water. This just makes you no longer need to hold down the flush pedal the entire time. It can also be used in conjunction with either the Master Blaster or the Swivel tool, and it is a very nice way to make sure that you are able to keep the valve open and water flowing. Unless you are rinsing the tank with the water turned off, then you can just use the stick down the middle of it and rinse the tank. When it comes to using the Chock with some of the different tools, sometimes you have to place it over the tool before you're able to place it into the black water holding tank. For example, using the Master Blaster, we needed to preload the Chock onto the tool itself before we were able to install it into our black water holding tank through the toilet. When it comes to rinsing the black water holding tank, our favorite method is by using any one of these tools in order to allow the black water holding tank to become completely full with water after the initial dump. You will want to do this with the black water holding tank valve in the closed position, even though there are stickers around the RV which recommend against this. These are safety precautions to help you avoid overflowing the tank. However, if you're using a flow meter or even a simple stopwatch on your cell phone, a lot of the times you can get very close without having any problems as far as overflowing goes. Once the black water holding tank is full by whichever means you can make it happen, simply open up the black water holding tank valve and let everything rush out. This is by far the most effective means which we've seen as far as clearing out what was left behind in a black water holding tank from the initial dump. Even if you don't have an onboard tank rinser or don't have any of these tools which we have tested in this video, a really simple and effective method is to simply fill up the toilet bowl partially full with water or completely full with water, and then let it all flush into the black tank all in one big splash. This can knock free quite a bit of stuff which is located directly below and adjacent to where the toilet is connected into the black tank. Another way which you can rinse your black water holding tank is by simply running a garden hose in through your RV and filling up the black water holding tank with a hose until it is full, and then opening up the black water holding tank valve, allowing everything to rush out of the black tank. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully you found this video on rinsing your black tank helpful. Please let me know down in the comments below if I left anything out or if I'm missing any tool which you happen to use yourself. Thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe if you feel like it, and we'll see you on the next one.